near, and those who are far. We ask that you open your hearts and minds to receive the marvelous Lynn Story-Bunce. Lynn Story-Bunce was with us last month and led just an energizing conversation about TIM grants. And tonight she's focusing on small group grants with a few more dollars than the previous one. Lynn Story-Bunce is a minister in Greensboro, North Carolina. She is a woman of creativity and great warmth. I think that you will enjoy her leadership, and I am honored to serve with her on the National Ministers Council, where she oversees the small group grant and TIM grant monies. So without further ado, I ask that you welcome Lynn Story-Bunce.
Thank you. And Cheryl and I have served together, and she's actually up to be able to rotate off. But I let her know that when I signed on with the understanding that Cheryl was on this board. And so she actually is not able to rotate off quite yet. Cheryl is wonderful, and her friendship is a gift. And to serve alongside people that are on this leadership board of the Ministers Council, who are so incredibly thoughtful about the ways that we engage one another as the Ministers Council, as churches and pastors, really is a wonderful ministry to be part of. So a few weeks ago, we hosted, well, first, let me tell you who I am. I'm Lynn Story-Bunce. I serve as pastor of families and faith development at College Park Baptist Church, which is an American Baptist church here in Greensboro. I also serve on the leadership board of the Ministers Council as the national coordinator for Together in Ministry small groups, and have recently also taken under my umbrella these excellence in ministry grants that go to chapters. I currently live in Greensboro with my wife, who serves as a physical education teacher at a local middle school, and my 4 children, who are all under the age of 7. And so we are very busy people, and we love the chaos and the movement and the noise of it all. And so that's just a little bit about who I am. A few weeks ago, we hosted an MC Live event during which we talked about the importance of participating in small groups and the power, really, of group thought and spiritual practice, and the ways that being in groups and practicing and thinking together and doing creative ministry together and processing life enhances our own spiritual life, our own ability to be creative. That when we do it in groups, we are stronger together. And we did that through some brainstorming activities. So we're going to do some different ones tonight, because I think when we practice that together, it really connects with us and allows us to think and to hear other people's ideas, and just to be nurtured in that way. And so our TIM grants, they range up to about $500. And so let me encourage you, if you are part of a small group that would be interested in learning more about TIM grants, you can follow up with that on our website. That's where the application is housed, or you could watch the recording of our last session, and you can always email me directly. And so that email address is also on our website. But if you're joining with us tonight, then you are interested in learning more about the ways that our Excellence in Ministry grant, which can range up to $1,000, can help support the work and the growth of your chapters. And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so these are things that you can take back to your associations. You can take back to your chapter representative who might not be here tonight, and just let them know that this is something that we are doing. That we are, and I'll say more about it later, but as a Ministers Council, we see our job, our ability and the gift of walking in ministry with you to be able to support you and the work that you are doing to support the ministers that are part of your chapter. So I want to start with the brainstorming activity. Kim, who is the wizard behind the curtain, you actually can't see Kim, but she's doing all the tech things for us tonight. So Kim is going to spotlight for you pieces of broken pottery. And so this, I told you this past week, I participated in a retreat with the Ministers Council Leadership Board, where we were invited to break pottery with hammers, which is incredibly cathartic. And so I decided this would be a good thing to do tonight. And so I was inspired by that activity to bring pieces of broken pottery and place them before you. And I want you to take 5 minutes, and this is on your own, and then we'll come back and share together. 5 minutes on your own to imagine that you can take these pieces of broken pottery and make anything that you want to make with them for a group that is important to you. So it could be your family, it could be your church, it could be a small group of friends or ministers that you work with. It could be your chapter if you want it to be, but some small group that is important to you. You can take these pieces of pottery and make anything that you want to for that particular group. And so when you come back, the questions I'm going to ask, and I'll put them in the chat, is what did you make? How will it serve? And what considerations did you make in choosing this thing for your group? I would like for everyone to share if you're willing, and I won't call anybody out first, but is somebody willing to start? And you'll just share with us what you made, how it will serve, what you made and for whom. How about that? How will it serve that group, and what considerations did you have to make?
I have turned these shards into stepping stones.
Oh, lovely.
They go down one muddy bank, across a fairly deep stream, and up the other side. And they're able to bring us far-flung rural Wisconsin and urban Wisconsin pastors together. And in this time, we've got many difficulties we've had to face and all of that, but with our working together on the council, we can cross our own Rubicon and get to where we need to be. And
So tell me some of the things, I love that. Tell me some of the things you considered. It sounds like togetherness.
Well, and I didn't stick with the shard size. I made my own shard sizes. And
that's perfect.
And I made
that's
many
exactly
more
how
of
it should be.
And they're not as sharp as you've got them here. They're not going to like rip my leg up or something. but they're going to keep us from getting mired on either bank.
Yes.
And provide a clear way across the stream that divides us from where we need to be. And that's as far as I was able to stretch that one.
I love that. I put provides, let's put away, across divides. Safe travels. Togetherness or connection. Okay, would someone else share?
I can share. I mean, mine's very, so I was having a hard time constructing anything like whole out of these pieces, but I really liked the fact that they were pieces because I think sometimes in groups that I serve, the pieces, kind of remembering that you're a part of a whole matters. And so if I had these pieces, I would distribute them, one to each person,
okay,
as a reminder that we are a part of each other, that we can't be whole without the pieces that are scattered around us in one another. And so, you know, and so I thought about it in terms of some, you know, the regional ministry that I do, and helping people remember that we're all a part of our region, and we're better together, or we need each other. And then I also thought about it in terms of my church. So my church is in a process of transition, moving toward a plan for closing. And we don't know what that looks like exactly, but it may be that we're all scattered in different places. But remembering that we're a part of something bigger, and that we're a part of each other, regardless of where we end up. So those are my applications and the things that I was considering as I looked at this broken piece of pottery, these shards.
That's lovely. Thank you for sharing. Would someone else be willing to share? And I've written to go with Darren's, we are a part of each other and honoring both the individuality and the connectedness that exists within our groups.
Of course, whatever you want to call it in me, I saw the pieces and I immediately wanted to put them back together, to find a way to put them back together. In its brokenness, to glue it back together to what it would not be fully what it was, but perhaps since it was a piece broken, to then put it back together as best it could be put back together, because it looks like it could possibly hold something, a cup or something. And so I was thinking in my mind, I would like to put it back together and put some beautiful flowers in it, because my daughter's getting married. So I'd probably pop a green flower and a lavender hydrangea or something like that in it. And it would serve as a reminder that we are all broken in many ways, but it's possible to put us back together. The Potter's House came in my mind. We are marred, we are broken. We're all broken people. We are wounded healers in our ministry. And we often need to be reminded of that even in our brokenness, we can be of use. And so for me, the cup, the flowers, I was thinking about my family for the group as we're getting ready for this wedding in March, to use it to hold all those things, those flowers at our rehearsal dinner. For the group would be everyone at the rehearsal dinner, our family, our extended family and friends, those who celebrate with us and cry with us and laugh with us and pray with us, that yes, we are not a perfect people, we are broken people, but we still have moments in our brokenness to come together and form new and different relationships and to celebrate the wonderful relationships that God has given us. And it would be a wonderful moment for us to just marvel at what we can do with broken pieces. My scripture that I thought of was Paul, as the scripture says, the ship wrecked, but everybody had a piece and they made it to the shore with their broken pieces. So that's what I saw.
Thank you for that scripture reference, as I'm about to preach on the clay and the potter from Jeremiah this Sunday.
Yes.
They take that shipwrecked verse and stick it alongside of it. See what we can make of that.
Absolutely. We can make it on broken pieces. We may
That's
not have the
right.
whole ship, but just hold on.
I might just let you preach. Would someone else like to share?
Yeah, I'll go next. I turn those broken pieces into a bowl that is wide and deep. Because one of the things that I'd like to really focus on with the group is love. And particularly Romans 12, 9 through 10 says, love must be sincere, hate what is evil and cling to what is good, and be devoted. This is the one that I really like, the 10. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love and honor one another above yourselves. I think it needs a lot of work for all of us. And I look at myself first. But I would like to see us as a group really go deep in our love for each other, to be unified, open for change, to work as a team. Because if we're going to really learn how to go deep in love, then we have to learn how to work together. So I think that's really important for me. And each member naturally, the bowl is like a bowl of soup. It's wide. Each member has different ideas to put into that bowl on how we might arrive to where God would have us to be in our love relationship with each other. That's about it.
I love that, Cynthia. Thank you so much for sharing. Cheryl, are you willing to share with us your thoughts?
Absolutely. I love all of these. I thought of the group that I work with here in Attleboro, neighbors, community residents who come together every month to talk about our connections across race. And so I crafted a boat and from these pieces, and I crafted that boat so that we could all be in it together, navigating the waters, dealing with the rapids and the unexpected turns and waves that happen, and doing that together, experiencing those ups and downs and those unexpected waves and turns, but staying in the boat together no matter what, dealing with all that comes, the splashes and the drenchings and the dryings. And my boat has 2 levels because sometimes people need to get away and rest, get away from all the others and take a moment. And other times you need to go out and get fresh air and recover and be with other people. So this boat that I crafted is designed to serve and reinforce relationships, to say, you know, no matter what happens, even when things are ugly and uncomfortable, we're still together and we're still going to work this out together. That there'll be time for conversations and gatherings and moments, and not so far from the shore that we can't get back, so that we're able to get to the shore when we need to, and then get back out on the water again to navigate those waters, those opportunities for something different and new. And I also decided that I needed some additional material for my boat. I need a sail, and I need a way to make sure that we're all rowing and going in the same direction.
I love that. I love the way you either put pieces back together or you allowed them to stay separate, or you found more material to go with them. Your reflections on how these pieces can serve us as groups, your thoughtfulness about the ways that people need to be in community with one another. Eric's creating a way for people to come together, creating beauty out of brokenness, making something different that still holds the cracks of what has been, that honors the history of our pain, and yet is creating something new within it. This focus on love, bringing people together, on recognizing that even in our distance, we are still connected deeply to one another. And that within this relationship is this ability to buoy one another in a ship-like manner. The ways that you have highlighted our need for relationship, our need to be seen, our need to be loved, to be held accountable, to have people who walk with us, who become friends along the journey, who are brought together even across divisions. This is the kind of work that the Ministers' Council wants to be part of. This is what we hope is happening within our churches and within our communities and our chapters. And it is part of the 3 pillars that make up what the Ministers' Council really stands for. And so those 3 pillars, the focus really of what the Ministers' Council does in a very similar way that you have named here with your parts, becomes collegiality, centeredness, competency, those are the 3 pillars that we have highlighted as a council and have sought to make sure that our ministries, as we do them together and as the leadership board thoughtfully and prayerfully plans and creates opportunities for ministry to happen within chapters and within our own council. These are the things that we think also, as you have named, are so important. When our Together in Ministry grants came about, they were part of a larger response to the need that we were seeing nationally. Not just us as an organization, but churches and other organizations like Lilly, like universities who started doing research. This need to support pastors who were at an incredible rate burning out of ministry. So we were seeing numbers like 90% of ministers wouldn't make it past 5 years of ministry. And so in response to that, Lilly created a grant, and so did many others, and invited organizations to come together and to be part of providing something that would offer spiritual and communal and emotional health. These are the things that they saw that pastors were needing. And so the Ministers' Council received some of those grant funds and created these Together in Ministry grants, because research was showing that our pastors were feeling isolated and they needed opportunities, as you have named, to connect, to be centered in their relationships with one another and in their faith, to experience collegiality, and to be challenged as ministers to continue following this call in their life in ways that were just and in ways that were authentic. In a very similar way, the Ministers' Council has created this Excellence in Ministry grant. So the Together in Ministry is for small groups that could exist apart from your chapter. Excellence in Ministry is much the same, but it's for our chapters. And what we as the Ministers' Council want to honor is that chapters, you all, serve as a resource and a community of support for your local pastors. You are doing this work on the ground for your local pastors, of creating connection, of providing space for competency and collegiality. And so we, as your council, we want to walk alongside of you and become your support. We want to offer what we can so that you can create what's needed for your pastors without the financial stress of how to do that. And so Excellence in Ministry grants then were created so that we could provide support to you as you are doing the work on the ground to care for your pastors, to provide programming that might allow them to be connected to one another, to be led by a scholar or by a minister or a chaplain who's coming in to lead something for your chapter, an educational opportunity or a retreat or a spiritual walk together for a year. What we want to do as a Ministers' Council is say, we see your efforts and want to support that. Let us know how. Let us know how we can do that. And one of those ways is through our Excellence in Ministry grant. I know that we only have 1 minute left. So before I go to questions, what I want to encourage you to do is similar to what we just did here with all these broken shards and pieces. Imagining that there is a broken piece of pottery before you, and it holds all the needs of your chapter or of your group of ministers. Imagining, maybe together on your next meeting, what you could do with an Excellence in Ministry grant with $1,000 to bring those pieces together in a way that could serve your group, in a way that could connect you across divides, in a way that could buoy you during the hard times, in a way that acknowledges your separateness and individuality while also highlighting this importance of being connected to one another, while acknowledging the brokenness in our history and the beauty that comes in putting us back together while the cracks are still there. I want to challenge you as you leave us after the Q&A to really think about how we can support you and what you can do with those funds with that kind of grant. And then I'm going to put in our chat, this is how you get to that grant application, because we want you to apply for it. We want you and your chapter to use this resource for yourselves, for your group, and for your ministers, for your local ministers.
So as Lynn has said, she's available. The application is there. We encourage you. We want to use this money for the ministers and to help the ministry thrive, not just make it through, but to really thrive. So Lynn, it is always such a gift to be under your direction. It's just wonderful how you make things come alive that could be so mundane. And this was so alive and so creative and makes us hunger for more. So let us all give virtual applause to Lynn and for what you bring to us. Thank you so much.